This
questions.
conference will now be recorded.
There are none of the theoretical questions in the exam of AWS certification, be it sysadmin, be it developer, be it DevOps, or be it architect. All the questions which you have are practical questions. Okay, so it would be good to have a practical knowledge, and for that, I would suggest you to try to implement all the things which we do during the class and implement even more and try to um, do it either in your office or create a new account. That would be a part of the course. You have to do it, create a new account. Okay, and after that we have AWS white papers. We'll be discussing about that during the course. About Okay, sounds good until now.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so here we are. We'll start with basic idea of cloud computing. What is it? What are the different type of services? Okay, and so firstly, when we are talking about huge enterprises today, everybody has a private cloud, um, and there is a public cloud which is available all around us. W- Are you guys aware about the difference between the two?
Yeah, public cloud is like Amazon, and then private cloud is like the software is provided by like these IBM guys, and then you install and you use your network as a cloud
Yeah,
network. Yeah.
yeah, it's a good idea, it's a good definition as well. So the traditional definition is that which you said, yeah, that's true. And these are public cloud services which are provided on premises. These could be services which IBM gives us, or Oracle gives us, or even AWS gives us. Okay,
Mhm.
and private cloud is not uh, on premises data centers. It is actually a cloud which is integrated with the public cloud, and we shouldn't confuse it with the on-premises data centers. Okay, and there are many vendors like IBM, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and all these vendors use their terms in different ways. We'll be looking into terms as well, and we'll be looking why we it is best to choose AWS today, and what is the difference between AWS and Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform. And there's one more platform which we'll be seeing today together. Okay, so firstly, if we have an organization without cloud computing, what was the issue? We had on-premises data centers where we had compute, storage, and network setup. These would be many CPUs and hundreds of GBs of RAM, and then the network setup. And for every compute, storage, and network combination, we had one virtual machine, and inside each virtual machine, we had every application setup. That was the organization without cloud computing. So the categories in cloud computing, the first thing comes is the cloud applications, which are called as the software as a service applications. And these are the applications which you are totally surrounded by. And even if we talk about Gmail or Google Docs, all these are softwares as a services, which we can go online. We can use these softwares online as a service. Okay. Then we have cloud platforms. These are the technologies for running applications, storage, data, and more. And then comes the private cloud, which is a cloud platform in the on-premises data centers. Sounds good? So, what happens when organization switches to cloud computing? Earlier, we just had this block, this on-premises block. When a new service provider block comes up with the cloud computing, what happens is they provide storage, compute, and network where we can put up our software as a service applications. And here there is no need to set up every VM and reside every application onto it. We can directly set up applications and we can access them via their APIs, and we call it software as a service. Or we can do it the traditional way as well, just like we did it earlier, compute storage network, and in every VM we have applications hosted onto them, right? So you see the screen to have a clear difference between them.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, like, so the service provider, is the blue color is the private
Is
network, you can say.
it depends upon your requirements and your vendor. So sometimes if we talk about IBM, what they
Mhm.
do is they don't tell you. IBM actually have changed their way of working as well since a past few years. Earlier, what they used to do is they used to tell you that come to us and we'll be providing you the cloud service data centers. So at times they would ask you for some space in your office to put up their servers. Okay, these would be the cloud servers which would be connected to their public cloud and private cloud. Okay, and now they don't reveal their data centers. So eventually these cloud storage and network capacity, which extra capacity which we are getting right now. Earlier we used to provide them space, but now we don't provide them space. It's all over the internet, and it's up to us to manage the network between our on-premises data centers which exist and the service providers data centers which are on the cloud.
So on premises means basically it's the let's
It's
say
something,
IBM. Yeah,
yeah,
IBM. So their premises.
yeah,
And if I'm working for one company A, it is not on premise. It is a private network.
yeah. For that private network is on premises thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Private network is on premise. Okay.
Yeah. This is like your when we are talking about the block on the left, this is your office.
Okay.
And inside your office you have some data centers, you must have some compute storage and networks set up,
Hmm.
right? That
Hmm.
is the on premises. And
Okay.
service provider is the thing which we call it the cloud.
Okay. So these are the right side is like the IBM guys.
Yeah.
IBM or
Yeah.
AWS. Okay.
Anything, any company which provides you a platform. Okay.
Okay.
So how to implement SaaS and how can we put up. I just wanted you to have an idea that we can have software as a service for multi-tenancy as well. There is no need of having just one customer residing on the SaaS. We can have multiple customers at the same time, which are hosting their applications on the same SaaS service, and the data can be shared that way. Okay, so we talked about as of now we talked about the examples of software as a service, like Gmail is a software as a service or Google Docs is a software as a service. To give you a better example, I have put up some companies over here. Okay, there is Google, Dropbox, Microsoft, and all that. And how can we compare software as a services example? All these are cloud software. All these are softwares which are hosted on the cloud, and us as consumers we are using them as a service. Today, when we talk about Google, the email services Gmail, storage is Drive, and the productivity is Google Docs. Right? We all are aware about that. And when we come to Microsoft, we have the same thing: Exchange Online, or we call the Microsoft Outlook. We have storage for OneDrive, and the productivity is Office Online, where we have Excel, Word, everything online, and that is free as well. And then comes ERP and CRM. CRM is customer relationship management. That is something which comes with data learning and all that. So here they have their own products as well. Similarly, Dropbox has their storage product, which is called as Dropbox, and eventually it is a software as a service as well. Similarly with box.net is the same thing. It gives a better idea about software as a service now.
Yeah.
So when we evaluate software as a services, we can evaluate from the 2 points, and we can view it from our point of view, that is from users, and then from the vendor's point of view. If we view it from users' point of view, why do companies or the users prefer it? The reason is the faster deployment and the pricing we pay as we use, just like cloud, and there's a less financial risk. And eventually, what happens is there is a reduced need to go for on-premises resources and easier upgrades because all these upgrades are managed by some other company and you're paying for the services, right? But every time with benefits, we have the risk as well. So we need a trusting SaaS provider because we'll be hosting all our data onto some services. And when we are some huge company, we don't want our secrets revealed and our data revealed to any other company. So that's the reason eventually it can raise legal or regulatory concerns and can limit customizations. That is another reason it can be harder to integrate with existing applications, even for applications which are existing since tens or twenties of years, and we want to integrate SaaS with them. That is a little difficult at times. Eventually, if we compare SaaS to application which is hosted locally on our server, obviously it will have a lower performance as well, okay, than a on-premises application. You agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how can we evaluate SaaS from a software vendor's point of view? It can provide more predictable venue. This time you can think of it from the point of AWS or IBM whenever they are providing some services. From them, it is a more predictable revenue system, and they sell business directly to the decision makers of a company. Okay, eventually it can lower support costs as well depending upon the functionality of the application, and it provides more knowledge, more data, and offers potential to reach new customers. But for them, it's a huge risk as well. They must demonstrate real upfront value. Like with Amazon also we have 1 month trial and many free options, and for them it's all paid. They are paying for all those services when they are offering you that. But for us, for attracting new services or new customers, it is free, right? And the revenue this time comes more slowly for if we have free tier or not premium, or even if we are having some services which are very less paid, very less cost with very less cost, that is a source of revenue for them and it is very slow for them. In that case, it even lessen the ability to sell customization because they are selling in stock very very big stocks, and in that case they might be limited to customize their product. And at times with huge companies when they have their security demands, it brings a huge challenge of sales as well. Okay, and it requires significant business changes depending upon the customers. It might be pricing, might be sales, might be customization of their own product, right? Because recently I was integrated with a bank and they had set up AWS console for just for them, and AWS had been working for 1.5 years just to set up a new console and a whole new network just for this bank because they wanted to they wanted to shift to cloud. They were ready to pay as well, but they didn't wanted to use the whole thing which was existing online for AWS. So in that case, there was a significant business change, and these changes doesn't cost little, right, for huge companies. Sounds good about SaaS?
Yeah, but sorry, I think these benefits and the risks, right?
Yeah,
I think we it's kind of like theoretical knowledge, like it's good, like you're explaining,
yeah,
but sometimes, like I'm not sure, like if I'm the only one boring, but other people, but
yeah.
uh, I'm just giving you my opinion, so that's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little boring, right?
Yeah.
For me also, it's the
Okay.
same.
Okay.
I am obliged to do that because
No,
once we move, yeah,
it's very informative.
it's very informative. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
because I hate PPTs personally. I don't like to give presentations at all. I prefer to go on to the content, do practicals, and try to fail, try to do something new as well. But what I want is I want to have a little basic discussions with you. Okay. And after that, once we move on to the console, we'll be resting over there itself. We don't have anything to come back. That's the reason. So give me some time with the PPTs. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll get back to it. I think for first two sessions, it would be just PPTs with AWS. But with the second session, we'll start with practical as well. It wouldn't be just PPT. And after that, I'll try to not to return to PPTs throughout our sessions. Okay, sounds good. The
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah. No, actually, the you can give us the, like the notes, like
Yeah,
rest, like thing, the kind of notes, like we don't have that so far.
yeah,
And while you're explaining, like okay, so briefly, shortcut, and then if you talk about more on the pros and cons, it's like sounded like the theory, and then kind of getting bored. So that's what I mean. You go ahead, like let's see, like how it goes. I think the other people are also like enjoying, so let them, like
uh-huh.
yeah,
Okay, sure. Let's do that.
yeah.
Let's continue a little. And
Mm.
once you feel that it is too boring, we'll stop with it. We'll go to the console. We'll start with it. Okay.
Okay.
It's to all of you guys. Let me know that when we have a lot of PPTs today, we'll stop with it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the impact of SaaS, the life is better for the users. There aren't any risks involved, and for the software vendors, life is different as well because the the pricing changes, the sales process changes, and even the operations. Okay. So what cloud platforms offer over traditional hosting? The first is immediate access to more services. Okay. And then we have usage-based pricing and the global scale.
Yeah, obviously,
So,
yeah. Yeah.
okay. So evaluating cloud platform, we'll let it go. Now we'll come to another type of services. We just saw SaaS, we have PaaS and IaaS. Okay. PaaS and IaaS. PaaS is platform as a service. IaaS is infrastructure as a service. Let's first look on IaaS, what actually it is. So usually what happens is with cloud, we have an option to go to any platform, create a infrastructure, right? Create a server. Let's not talk about infrastructure. Create a server, and that server we can connect to our own servers which are existing, and then we can do a SSH or SFTP or SCP. These are some commands to do the transfer. I think you guys are already aware of with the background you have. So what we can do is we can use that infrastructure which is on the cloud, and we can connect it to us, which is on premises or any other cloud, right? And at that point of time, that infrastructure is a Windows VM or a Linux VM, and we are accessing it as a service because we are not putting it up anywhere in our office, and we are not trying to set up the host, set up the windows, set up the environment. We don't have to do all that. It is ready made, which has come with the cloud platform. So that thing is infrastructure as a service, right? And now comes the platform as a services. Um, for platform as a services, what happens is we get a service onto cloud, and here we have the VMs and the supporting services are there where the applications is already hosted. Okay, or we can directly host the application. So if we talk about AWS, that is a platform which we are getting where we can go and host our application directly. Okay.
So application in the sense, what is the example like, what are the application we develop, like paying portal, like uh, any shopping cart, that portal application or
Yeah.
so- okay,
Yeah, it could be anything depending upon your requirement. It could be a anything payment portal or a shopping cart like you said.
okay.
Or
And then
when yeah,
supporting services is the IaaS or Apaches, those, or I'm trying to understand, is that same
yeah,
or
exactly. Exactly. So these are the VMs which are provided and the supporting services as well. So let me tell you about one service from AWS, which would be the best example over here. Okay, platform as a service. What happens is AWS provides us a service called Lambda. This service Lambda comes at this level where I have written supporting services. Okay, for you, what you have to do is you can go to Lambda and you can host your application over there. If it is a Java application, you can host it over there. Okay, or just imagine you have a 1 lakh line of code of Java, and if you had to run it on a local system, it would take huge amount of time, right? With
Mhm.
1 lakh lines of code and thousands of libraries which would be there in the code for the execution every time. If there's an incremental code for the execution every time, that would take a huge amount of time just for execute it and build it, right? What you can do is, if the supporting service is Lambda, you can put your application code over there, you can execute it, you can see the result right away. You don't have to set up a networks, you don't have to set up a system, you don't have to install Windows, you don't have to set up a host, you don't have to install Java onto it. Okay, you just have to go there, paste your Java code onto it, and you can execute it. And there are many services, supporting services of Lambda, which takes care of all the things which are like VM creation and the basic installation to run the code.
So that means, to run our application, right? So when you had to create some, like, uh, machine, and then on top of
Yeah,
that, you had to choose the services, like,
yeah,
Apache server or any server, the
yeah.
IaaS server, and then you host the application. So that means I see, like, it's a combination of both
No,
SaaS
no, no,
and
no.
IaaS.
For you, you have to come here with just the application. Whatever you just said was the situation with the traditional IT when we didn't have cloud at all, where you have to go set up your VM, set up your services, and then host your applications. You exactly described the traditional IT. But now, when we talk about PaaS, here everything is there except the application. For you as a user, you come up with your application code and you just host it. Got it?
Okay, so that means, like, but in order for that to host my application, so okay, my
Yeah,
application is like, this much big. Okay,
yeah,
100 GB. Okay,
yeah,
I'm going to host application. So this is Java application. So I tell the AWS, okay, I want to run this. So AWS
yeah.
gives me one machine, and then I just install it and run. I
No,
don't have to
it
worry
doesn't
about.
even give you a machine. It gives you a service which is called Lambda. We'll see Lambda, what is actually Lambda in the console.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
Lambda. So that's what, I am not
yeah.
familiar with that terminology.
Okay. So what happens is Lambda is a service which is provided to you, and it is at this level where I've written supporting services. It is
Hmm.
running actually on VMs. It has actually installed Java and everything whatever you require for to run your code. Okay, to run your application code. but you don't have to go at that level. For you as a user, you come with your application code, you just put it there, and you just tell that my application code is in Java, is in .NET, or whatever language you have written in, and you just execute it. That's all. So
Okay,
that is platform as a service.
okay. So the reason,
Okay.
like, I am not familiar with Lambda, right? So it's because
Yeah,
of
yeah. Yeah, no
one,
issues. We
yeah, one
that
EC2
would
instance. Yeah, the previous instructor create the EC2 instance either with
okay,
Windows or
okay,
Linux. Okay.
okay,
So this what exactly, we have the idea. So when you
okay.
said, like, there is already Lambda and then you just have to come with application and we just install it.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
no
that's where,
worries.
like,
That would be a part of this course. We'll be looking it together.
okay.
Okay.
And then, like, based on the SaaS, IaaS, and PaaS. Okay,
Yeah,
I see, like, PaaS is a combination of SaaS and IaaS. Is
yeah,
it? Am I true or
you're
not?
right.
I'm right. Okay, I'm just trying
Yeah,
to
it
understand.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is true. And these days, there's one new thing which have been coined up in the market, which is called DaaS. That's Docker as a service. It is not very common as a term, but some people are already using it, and that's how the trends come up in our industry, right? So
I
with
think there is
Docker,
a yeah, there is a
yeah.
Docker software, right? So I heard about that one.
So there are many Docker softwares. The first is Docker itself. I'll try to show that to you. Okay.
Not
Um,
not right now. Okay, so we'll
yeah.
just continue as a
So
sequence and come back.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. During the content itself, I'll put some knowledge about Docker as well,
Mm-hmm.
because we have some modules which exist in AWS which
Mm-hmm.
are related to Dockers. Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
So I need to just check, is it included in the certification path this time as well or not? If not, we'll let it go. If it is included, we have to cover it. Okay.
Yeah, but you can. It doesn't hurt, like, giving the brief idea, right? So that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
The
that's
idea
fine.
we would be sharing for sure.
Yeah.
So before Docker as a service, we have the thing Docker as a service, which I said, it is also called container as a service. Okay. And here we get containers, and these containers could be your application containers. If we talk about Jenkins, you guys are aware about Jenkins?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm not used. I'm supposed to,
Okay. So
use.
Jenkins is an application for automating your release management
Yeah,
or
yeah.
automating stuff. That's the thing. That's the idea of Jenkins. So today, either we can set up our Jenkins as a software and we have to host it somewhere, or we can just take a container of it where Jenkins is already installed. We just have to use our services. So that's how we can use a container as a services. Okay. And we can deploy or manage our containers, and eventually after that comes function as a services. Okay. Here we call it serverless computing. And when we call lambda at a level, when we try to understand how it is working, it is actually a part of function as a services, because for us it is just some functions which is running. Okay. And when we talk about platforms, this is the whole AWS onto which our application is hosted.
Mm.
AWS cloud platform, which is provided online, where we have hosted our application, and the function is a part of that PaaS. Okay, function as a services, because these things, function as a service and CaaS, container as a services, are very small things. We can't just They can't just exist integrally. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see this, like, in the practical. So
Yeah.
actually, I understand about all the other three, and then I
Yeah.
came across all the other three, but not these two.
Okay. These things are very small parts of the integral services, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay. So let's. So what all have you covered on AWS as of now?
I am not sure, like, with the excuse me, other people, but
Okay.
we saw that, like, auto scaling, like, how the how we can add automatically the EC instances. It's more
Okay.
about like an EC instance.
Okay,
That's
that's all.
that's yeah.
What about you, Krishna, Jaya? And we have Kiran as well.
Yeah, we are all in the same page. We are all
Okay.
attended.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
are all, yeah.
Okay. Welcome, Kiran. Got it. You're new to AWS. So all of you guys, have you created an account on uh, AWS?
I do
And
have it.
Yes.
okay, okay. For those who don't, I would encourage you to create an account. And whenever you do, you have to just go and sign up over there. And eventually, you would get around $200. I don't know if they're offering now or not. These $200 to a
And
new user.
no, I don't think so.
No, they are not.
I don't
Okay. Okay. We have this in Google Cloud Platform actually,
think.
even now. So what the thing is, uh, you go sign into the console, and even if we don't have any credit as of now, we have one functionality of AWS which is called a free tier, and all the services which we have in AWS. When we click on the top left corner, we have all the services which are existing, and every service has a free tier available where we don't have to pay for some limited amount of services. Okay, like with EC2 instances, there are some instances which are free and some are paid. For you guys, I'll tell you about the pricing as well when we are working on it so that you don't get charged too much on your cards, which you have put up over here. Okay, so do you guys have any basic idea about this services which exist?
Mhm,
And after logging into all this, so the basic thing is EC2, we always start with that, and that is the easiest thing as well.
mhm,
Mm, so shall we finish the PPDs today?
mhm,
So for the cloud platform technologies, the data, to structure the data, we have four levels at which we structure the data. The first level is creating a virtual machine. Okay, and for data we can create a database. Then comes the object based storage, okay, where we put the unstructured data. Then comes the relational storage, and we have different levels of relational storage and the different data types of databases which are available on cloud, which can be used to manage our databases. Okay, so right, the thing is we are dealing with AWS today, and tomorrow you go to any company and they tell that we don't use Amazon as a cloud platform. What are you going to do? Are you going to say that no, I won't be able to work on it because I have a AWS certification? Or you will say that no, I won't be able to work on it because I had been working all my life on Amazon platform? No, that won't be a case, because today all the services, all the platforms which you get today in the market, be it Amazon, be it Microsoft Azure, be it GCP, or the Google Cloud Platform, we call it GCP as well, or the Salesforce.com. That is also a cloud platform, and these are one of the four major vendors available today. Okay, we have VMware, IBM as well, but they are not in the top four today. So we'll be talking about these top four, and I want you to know that if you are having a very good idea about AWS and you have every idea about all the services of AWS, how you can manage yourself with a company or a platform of Microsoft or Google. Okay. So the first thing to keep in mind is every services, every platform you get, they provide the same service. Okay. But the thing is, whenever you go to some other company like Microsoft or Google, they can't use the same services names, same service names like EC2 instances. What actually it is just a VM based on the cloud, and we just access it, and they have just given a fancy name to their services, which is EC2 or Elastic Compute Cloud, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the Microsoft and the Google couldn't use the same thing because of copyright issues. So what they do is they just change the names to the same services which they provide. So in that case, I want you to have a good idea about these services, because that would help you out to change when you change careers to architect or to any domain of your choice, okay, which utilizes the cloud platform. So here, the first thing is with Amazon Web Services, when we talk about infrastructure as a service, we have EC2 instances where we have VMware, or where we have cloud instances which we can create. Then comes platform as a services, which is Elastic Beanstalk. We'll be looking into it. Okay. Then comes container as a services, where we can create Docker functions, and we can implement applications onto it. Similarly, for function as a services, we have Lambda, like we discussed. And at data level, not the compute level, we have S3 services, which is object storage. Then we have RDS, it is a database of Amazon, which they have created, Amazon RDS. And there is a DynamoDB as well, which is a NoSQL database. So all these things have some fancy names, and the services are the same. Okay.
Mm.
So we'll compare it with Microsoft, the next step. Okay. The Amazon services was the first mover to cloud, and it appeared in 2006. And they had just one service at that point of time. It was just EC2 instances. Okay. Eventually, they came up with S3, and slowly we have a huge list today. That is the reason, the first one to come in the market, and that is the reason it is viewed as a leader, and it is focused on public cloud today. Okay. Just a fun fact, it came up in 2006, but there are many companies like VMware and EC2. Uh, sorry, not EC2, EMC. You guys are aware about this name, EMC? EMC Square? I think it's a company based in United States as well, and I worked with them, and they started their cloud journey in 2004.
EMC
2004.
bought by Dell.
Yeah, it's a part of Dell now.
Yeah.
So they started their journey in 2004 with cloud, and they started with hypervisor. I was there with them, and what we did was we tried to implement EC2, the same concept of EC2 instances in 2004, but that was like a R&D going on, and it didn't get too much of funding or attention from the board of directors, and that's the reason we got stopped in 2006. And just after that, we saw that Amazon Web Services were launched with EC2 instances, and that's when the real research started in the market because of the competition. So that's all. And now we'll compare the same services of AWS with Microsoft Azure. Okay, and we'll see the names how they change for the same services, exactly the same service, nothing different. So for all the EC2 instances in AWS, these are called as virtual machines, simply virtual machines with Microsoft Azure. Okay. For platform as a services, it would you would have a better idea once we look into Elastic Beanstalk, and this service is called as a Fabric in Azure. And when we come to container services or the Docker part, where here it is called as ACS. Instead of ECS, it is called as ACS, Azure Container Services. And we don't have we have Lambda as a copyright in the market today. That's the reason Azure was obliged to use as Azure Functions. Similarly, we have the databases. Here we don't have any service like S3 today. We have BLOBS, that is uh, large large object databases, something like that. So we have all the data stored in binary format, and we can store. terabytes of petabytes of data into that. And for relational databases, we have SQL and DocumentDB. That's a part of that is a NoSQL database from Microsoft Azure. Okay.
Is the document DB is the Microsoft proprietary or something else?
Yeah, it's a Microsoft proprietary.
Okay, okay, thanks.
Okay. So we Microsoft, it still exists in the market and it's a strong competitor to AWS, and it has a strong platform as a service story, which has been offering us a platform since decades now, Microsoft today, and it has a strong relationships with all the vendors and the enterprises which exist in the world today, and it supports hybrid cloud. So if you have a private cloud of your own and if you want to use the public cloud of Microsoft, you can do it. And that's the concept of hybrid cloud.
Yes, so 1 second,
Yeah.
Prince. So I missed that, AWS, whether the AWS supports the hybrid cloud. No, right?
No, it doesn't support hybrid cloud.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's what I just
Yeah.
want. I forgot or I missed it. So, okay, thanks.
So what happens is rarely if you're a very huge company, like the last company I was working with, they offered their services specially, but usually that's very, very rare because you have to pay a lot to them, and in most of the cases they deny their services as a hybrid cloud. They are not ready to integrate their services usually.
But they are
But
capable of, providing
they
the.
are capable. Yeah, but they are capable of. Everybody is capable of. They wouldn't stop their research or a customer if someone is paying too good to be served right.
Mhm.
Why would they say no?
Okay.
So here we come at Google Cloud Platform. We have the main services, which was EC2 and the virtual machine. Here it is called a compute engine. Okay. So when you go for some interviews and they are using Google Cloud Platform, they would ask you, can you create a compute engine? And for them, it would mean as the same thing, like creating a EC2 instances. Okay.
Hmm.
Similarly, we have App Engine for PaaS, and for containers, we have Container Engine. Okay, like container services. Here we have Cloud Functions, where we can just go and put up our application code and implement it. Similarly, we have storage services as well, which is Cloud Storage, Cloud SQL, and Cloud Data Store. So these are some examples which are quite innovative, which from the Google's point of view. The first is Hadoop or Spark. These are the things which are integrated for data processing and data analytics, which is the first platform which provided us this thing. We didn't have this in when we had Hadoop or Spark. We didn't have these kind of options in AWS or Microsoft. That's the reason it is one of the most famous one. We have machine learning modules as well, which started with Google Cloud Machine Learning, and eventually Azure and Amazon implemented this. And there are many leading platforms which offers dozen of services. Okay. Finally, we come to Salesforce.com. It is one of the huge companies with cloud platform providers. Why is it so? Because the products they have developed. It is a company just like Apple. When you get into their um, when you get into their ecosystem, it is really hard to go out, right? There were many customers of Salesforce which were using their ecosystem, and it was hard for them to go out. That's the reason they made use of their ecosystem which they created with compute platform as a services and the database which is used by their customers from which are there with them since decades. So is it clear? This table looks good to you?
Yeah, yeah. So one thing I missed, the Google Cloud is does they do they support hybrid? I think
Google Cloud.
yeah, you explained
Google
the Amazon
Cloud.
and Microsoft with those
Yeah,
comparison, but not the Google.
yeah. Google one, I'm not sure. Um, I think They do. They do. I haven't come across that thing. With Amazon and Microsoft, I had came across the time when they supported and I used it as a part of the company.
Hmm.
With Google, I think they do. They have a hybrid cloud. Yeah, they have a hybrid cloud, but I haven't used it.
Okay, can we just step back to the Google Cloud, the other, yeah, this one. Yeah, no,
This one,
Google one.
this one.
Yeah, the first box I did not understand. What is that? I
Okay,
AWS Elastic Map. That's fine. I don't understand this one.
which one?
The first box, Hadoop Spark.
Hadoop Spark. Okay, Hadoop is a framework actually. Okay, it is a open source framework and it is written in Java, which is having a target or a application, which is an application used for big data. Okay, I wanted to tell you that I just wrote Hadoop and Spark over here to give you a good idea about how it came to the market and what were the key factors it became very successful. The first thing is Hadoop, that was a part of cloud platform of Google only. Okay, and it is a big data application which we can use to for data analytics. And it started with Hadoop, and after that we had many implementations of applications or functions similar to Hadoop in AWS and Azure.
Oh, okay. So Hadoop is the product of Google, you
No,
mean?
no, Hadoop is an open source product,
Open source
but they
product.
have
Oh,
integrated in Google Cloud Platform.
okay. Okay, Google. And what is a
Okay,
Google Cloud Data Proc? What does that mean?
that is also a part of Hadoop for processing huge amount petabytes of data
Hmm.
at a same level at a single time. That's
Okay.
all this is a part of big data, and
Oh,
all these were initiatives taken by Google to implement on the platform.
okay.
Okay,
So
we
that
have
means
yeah,
Azure in HD inside is a different one on the edge.
yeah, yeah. That is the thing which they implemented just after Hadoop, which was implemented on Google Cloud, and on Google Cloud platform it is called as Google Cloud Data Proc. Okay, and this was the first thing which was implemented, and usually they call it Hadoop directly or they call it Google Cloud Data Proc. After that, AWS came up with EMR, that was Elastic Map Reduce, and then Azure came up with Azure SG Insight.
Is this an analytic engine or something
Yeah,
like?
these are we can call it analytic engines because eventually that's what the idea is about all these things which are working upon big data.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, so we have another approach. I think we can skip it. So before moving, I think we'll stop for the day here. But before moving, I wanted to know that are you guys okay with having classes on weekends? Is it possible for you guys?
Yeah, I think I am okay, and I need to, you guys are like, the other guys are like, check it out.
Yeah.
What time you
Krishna,
think?
Jaya, Kiran.
What time you think like, we can have class on weekend?
Mm, the
EST
same
based.
time, is it the same time? Is it fine?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I think on weekends it's not possible.
Okay. Not at
Yeah.
all, Jaya.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
I
What
mean,
about
like,
rest? Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
yeah, is there anything like urgency that we are
No,
having
no.
on
For
weekends?
for me, it's not a urgency.
Okay.
It's not. Okay. For Kiran also, weekends is not possible. Okay, fine. I think in that case we will not have weekends.
Okay, I think,
Um,
let's continue for a couple of weeks and then we'll see like, based on the
yeah, yeah, we
schedule
can
then.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you guys want to extend the classes from 1 hour to 1.5 hours? Is that fine with you guys?
I'm actually like, if we can prepone before, so because 9 o'clock or
Uh, Actually, that would be an issue because I have another batch. We'll look about the timings. I'll talk to BigClasses about that. Okay.
okay.
The timings is a issue already.
Yeah, this time like 10:30. By the time we go to the blood, like even if we don't do, it's going to be
Yeah,
11
that's
o'clock.
true.
11
Yeah,
o'clock.
that's true.
If we extend up to 11, right? So that's going to be 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that's true.
We have to go to the work. So that's the reason.
Okay. Timing, we'll check it out how we are going to manage with BigClasses. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, that's pretty
Okay.
much.
And if we manage this time, um, our can we extend it 30 minutes? That
That
class?
that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah, yeah. That
yeah,
by
11 o'clock.
11, 11
Yeah,
is very late, right?
yeah.
Okay. I'll if I'm trying to push it back by 30 minutes, in that case, 30 minutes extension is okay with you guys?
Yeah, I think up
Yeah.
to 10:30 is okay, I guess.
Okay. The rest, fine as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we attended, classes at 9 o'clock. Uh,
Okay. Okay, sounds good. So for the timings, I'll check with big classes. How can we manage? Okay.
mhm,
And after that, we'll continue with our cloud journey with AWS platform. Okay.
mhm, mhm.
Right? Sounds good.
Okay. Any questions? Any
So
doubts? Any questions? Yeah.
tomorrow you would show us the AWS console and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll start with it.
Okay. Yeah.
No doubts. That's all.
Yeah, I just want to clarify with the team. Okay, is it okay? Like, I'm interrupting and asking for the clarification. Is that a good idea? Or like, we have to skip in the end. The reason, like, to skip in the end, we might forget what to ask. So, the other team guys, is it okay? Like, the way which we are going on.
Yeah, that's good, Naresh. Go ahead. How you are doing? We are happy that somebody is asking that, so we are counting on you. So that's why we are
No,
all keeping quiet. So,
Krishna, after some point of time, I'll ask Naresh to stop. It would be your turn. Okay?
oh, okay then. That's okay.
Everybody has to take turns here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all keep quiet. Means we are all keeping okay because Naresh is taking care of it.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry, man. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you guys. Have a good evening.
Right.
And I'll see you tomorrow during the class. Okay?
Okay, okay. Have a nice day, Prince.
You too. Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Um, Kiran, I got your message. What do you mean by self-paced?